Got an email with my YouTube Premium telling me that I have access to something called Super Duolingo, which looks like I don't know actually. I don't know what it looks like. It just says I have 2 months of Super Duolingo because I have my YouTube Premium, and that's gonna be my segue into this. I want to learn how to speak Spanish. I don't know if you can tell by my really pale complexion, but I am a Hispanic. My name is Eliseo Clemente Aguilar, but I cannot speak Spanish. I also kind of butchered that pronunciation, I think, of my own name. And that's kind of crazy. I go by EJ in most places, mainly because growing up, no one knew how to say Eliseo. They would go Elis, Eliseo. Some fuckers would just call me like Ellie or Elijah. Sometimes they would just call me Elso. Is Elso here? Stuff like that. But I went by EJ because I'm also a junior, so Eliseo Junior EJ. Um, well, it's also just easier for white people to remember. It's easier to say, remember, whatever. And growing up, I never really was involved in my Hispanic roots. I didn't like learn Spanish growing up. It wasn't really forced on me. I was in dual language like till fourth grade, and after that, I stopped learning Spanish. My parents never really made it a priority for me to learn it as well. And in high school, my language of choice was ASL because I wanted an easy class where I didn't have to try. And ASL is very easy, insanely easy to learn. But my point is, I don't know how to speak Spanish, and it has kind of it's been a point of like insecurity for me because I am a Hispanic man, so I should know, especially because I dated this one girl and her entire family almost entirely spoke Spanish, and I could very rarely communicate with them. And at my new job, most of my coworkers also either mainly only speak Spanish or that's their first language and like language of preference. You know, they'd rather speak Spanish than English. So I'm like one of the only guys there who only knows one language. And when I was going into the job, I was worried because I didn't want them to make fun of me or to kind of exclude me because I didn't know Spanish, you know. But thankfully they're very nice and they're very inclusive, and they offered it to teach me Spanish as well, because hopefully I'm moving into a leadership role, and I'd like to speak to my team in the language that they prefer, just to keep them happy. You know what I mean? Just to be helpful. So I'm going to download this Super Duolingo thing and try it out because I really want to learn. You know, it also is kind of embarrassing, and I mean to me it hasn't been that bad because I um I don't really care when people make fun of me. It's more of a self insecurity thing. Like to me, like I don't feel like I'm good about myself because I don't speak Spanish. If someone else were to go, "Oh, you're a no," like if someone at work was like, "You're a no sabo kid," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I don't care. I don't care what you think, bro." But t- to me, to myself, I should know Spanish. So right now, I just downloaded it on my phone here, and I'm gonna try it out. Hopefully, within like 2 months, I can speak a little bit of it because it also is nice. You know, it is nice to like kind of go into my roots and kind of bring out the Eliseo in me instead of the EJ all the time. Especially because most of my extended family, at least on my mom's side, also mainly speaks Spanish. So whenever we'd have family reunions, I couldn't really relate or even communicate because they would be talking and I just go, uh huh. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what the fuck you're saying, dude. And then I'd walk away. It also is nice to kind of still be learning. You know, I haven't like I haven't sat down and learned something in a minute, other than how to play new games, I guess. But or I mean, I learn all the time. But you know, I mean, like in a setting in which you sit down and you study. You know, not just learning new experiences. I haven't sat down and studied in a while, so I'm sure that would be a nice little a nice little activity for me to do. It also adds something in my daily schedule that I have to keep myself focused on because I know Duolingo. It's like you do the daily lessons or whatever. So my point today: you should learn a new language. You should learn to speak Spanish because it's pretty cool, and it is like the second largest. It's either the second or the largest language spoken in America. So it is a very like useful skill to have. Not even to speak it, but just to understand it to help communicate with people. I was talking with my sister about it last night about her boyfriend is trying to learn Spanish so he can have more clients at his tattoo parlor. And I was telling him like, why doesn't he have like that like those translators where one guy speaks into the mic and then it plays out audio of the other person's language and then vice versa so they can communicate. And she told me it's like using a crutch instead of just learning the language and having the skill. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna learn the language. I'm gonna have the skill instead of having to rely on technology as a crutch to communicate with people. So yeah, today's moral: you should learn a new language. You should challenge yourself. It also is just really cool to kind of whip out a different language sometimes, especially when you're arguing with people and they don't understand what you're saying. It kind of goes crazy a little bit. Thank you.